I trusted that dinner would go well, but instead I was humiliated in front of the person I loved most. What was supposed to be a happy memory turned into a nightmare. Everyone was watching, but no one helped. I thought I could fix it, but the truth destroyed everything. I always thought I had a pretty normal family. My mom raised me as a single parent after my dad left when I was about 6 years old. She worked hard, sacrificed a lot, and always told me that she wanted me to be happy. But here's the thing, my mom is different. She's loving, she's supportive, but she has absolutely no filter. She says whatever she thinks, she has a strange sense of humor, and she has this way of making small situations incredibly awkward without even realizing it. I grew up kind of used to it. I'd roll my eyes when she embarrassed me in front of friends, or when she overshared something personal at school events. But now, at 21, I was bringing someone into my life that I truly cared about, my girlfriend, Emma, and I was terrified of what would happen when those two worlds finally collided. Emma and I had been dating for almost a year, and things were getting serious. She had already introduced me to her family, and they were amazing. Her mom was sweet, her dad was the kind of guy who shook your hand firmly and asked about your goals in life, and even her little brother liked me. Compared to that, my mom was unpredictable. When Emma suggested meeting my mom, I tried to dodge the subject. I'd say things like, "Oh, she's really busy," or "maybe after exams." But eventually I ran out of excuses. Emma noticed I was being weird about it and asked if something was wrong. I couldn't exactly say, "I'm scared my mom will traumatize you with her personality," so I just said I wanted it to be the right time. Finally, after weeks of her gently pushing, I caved. I told her we could have dinner at my mom's house. The week leading up to it, I was so anxious I couldn't focus on anything else. I kept thinking about all the ways it could go wrong. What if my mom told embarrassing childhood stories? What if she made one of her inappropriate jokes? What if she compared Emma to my ex? She had done things like that before without realizing how harsh she sounded. On the day of the dinner, I coached my mom over the phone like I was preparing her for a job interview. "Please, Mom, just be nice. Don't bring up my exes. Don't talk about my grades. Don't make jokes about, you know, bodily functions." She laughed and said, "Oh, come on, I'm not that bad." But deep down, I knew she was exactly that bad. When Emma and I pulled into the driveway, my stomach was in knots. My mom was already waiting at the door, waving enthusiastically. She looked excited, which only made me more nervous. As soon as Emma stepped out of the car, my mom practically ran over and hugged her. "Oh my gosh, so this is the famous Emma? You're even prettier than in the pictures," she exclaimed. Emma laughed politely, but I could already feel my face heating up. My mom's compliments always had a way of sounding like backhanded comments, even when she didn't mean them that way. We went inside and my mom had the table set with way too much food. She always cooked like she was feeding an army. I guess it was her way of showing love, but I could see Emma trying to process the chaos of dishes being passed around. For the first 15 minutes, things actually went okay. My mom asked Emma about her studies, her hobbies, her family. Emma answered politely, and I started to relax. Maybe, just maybe, it wouldn't be a disaster. And then, it started. My mom leaned in and said, "So Emma, do you plan on marrying my son someday?" I nearly choked on my drink. Emma's face turned bright red, and she laughed awkwardly. Well, we haven't really talked about that yet." My mom grinned. "Oh, don't be shy. I mean, you're practically living at his place already, right?" Emma's eyes widened. "What?" she asked, clearly caught off guard. I jumped in quickly. "Mom, she's not living with me. She just visits sometimes." But my mom waved me off. "Oh, please, I'm not stupid. I know when two people are in love. I'm just saying I better get some grandkids before I'm too old to babysit." I wanted the floor to open up and swallow me whole. Emma smiled politely, but I could tell she was uncomfortable. Then my mom decided to share a childhood story. She turned to Emma and said, "Did you know that when he was 5, he used to run around the house naked, pretending he was a superhero? He called himself Captain Underpants." Emma burst out laughing, but not in a good way, in that, "Oh my God, what am I supposed to say to that?" way. I covered my face with my hands. Oh, the rest of the evening was a roller coaster of cringe. At one point, my mom asked Emma if she thought I was good in bed, and I nearly dropped my fork. Emma choked on her water, and I snapped, "Mom!" She just shrugged and said, "What? I'm just curious. I want to know if my son's making you happy." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. My girlfriend was mortified. I was furious, and my mom looked genuinely confused about why it was a big deal. By the time dessert came out, I was praying for the night to end. Emma tried to stay polite, but I could tell she was shaken. When we finally got in the car to leave, the silence was unbearable. I turned to her and said, "I'm so sorry. She doesn't think before she talks." Emma gave me a small smile and said, "It's okay. She's unique." But the look in her eyes told me everything. She was shocked, maybe even a little scared. That night, I lay awake replaying every moment. I felt humiliated, guilty, and worried. What if Emma didn't want to see my mom again? What if she thought less of me because of how I grew up? I couldn't shake the thought that maybe this dinner had ruined something between us. And I had no idea that this was only the beginning of the embarrassment my mom was about to cause. After that dinner, I thought the worst was over. Sure, it had been humiliating, but at least it was done. Emma had met my mom, survived the night, and we could move on. I figured we'd laugh about it later, maybe even turn it into one of those funny couple stories you tell years down the road. But that's not what happened. Over the next few days, Emma was distant. She still texted me, still picked up my calls, but something was off. Her replies were shorter, her laughs less frequent, and when we hung out, she seemed preoccupied. Finally, I asked her, "Hey, are we okay? You seem different." She hesitated before saying, "It's just, that night with your mom really threw me off. I wasn't expecting all of that." I nodded, trying not to sound defensive. "Yeah, I know. She crossed some lines. I'm sorry." Emma looked at me seriously. "It's not just that she embarrassed you. It's that she embarrassed both of us. I don't know if I can handle that long term." Her words hit me like a punch. I wanted to argue, to tell her my mom didn't mean it, that she's just quirky. But deep down, I knew Emma was right. My mom didn't have boundaries, and it wasn't fair to expect Emma to just accept that. Still, I tried to smooth things over. I promised Emma that I'd talk to my mom, that I'd set some ground rules before they saw each other again. Emma agreed, but I could tell she wasn't fully convinced. So I did what I dreaded most. I sat down with my mom for the talk. "Mom," I began, "I need you to understand something. The dinner the other night, you embarrassed Emma a lot. Asking her about marriage, about, you know, intimate stuff. It's not okay." My mom frowned. "I was just being honest. Would you rather I lie? I was trying to connect with her." I sighed. There's connecting, and then there's oversharing. Please, for me, just keep things simple next time. No personal questions, no embarrassing stories, just normal conversation. She rolled her eyes. "Fine, fine. I'll behave, but you're too sensitive. Girls like honesty." I wasn't convinced, but I didn't push further. A week later, Emma reluctantly agreed to give my mom another chance. She said she didn't want one awkward dinner to define our relationship. I admired her for that. Honestly, I was terrified. This time, my mom suggested going out to a restaurant instead of cooking at home. I thought that was a great idea. Less chaos, fewer opportunities for disaster. We met at this cozy Italian place downtown. For the first 20 minutes, things actually went well. My mom asked Emma about her favorite books, her favorite foods, and Emma seemed more relaxed. I started to think maybe this could work out. Then the waiter came over to take our orders. My mom looked at him, then at Emma, and said, "Be careful with the pasta here, dear. If you're planning on fitting into a wedding dress someday, carbs aren't your friend." Emma froze. My jaw dropped. I wanted to crawl under the table. "Mom!" I hissed. "What?" she said innocently. "I'm just giving advice. Don't be so dramatic." Emma forced a smile, but I could see the hurt in her eyes. The rest of the meal was painfully quiet. My mom tried to make small talk, but the mood was ruined. When dinner ended, Emma excused herself to the bathroom. That's when I snapped. "Mom, what the hell was that?" I yelled. She looked genuinely confused. "I was helping her. Girls worry about their weight, don't they?" I was being supportive. I buried my face in my hands. "You don't get it. That wasn't supportive. That was cruel. You're pushing her away." My mom sighed. "You're overreacting. If she can't handle me, maybe she's not the one." Her words stung, because for the first time I wondered if she might be right. What if Emma really couldn't handle my mom? What if my relationship was doomed because of it? Emma came back and we left soon after. The car ride home was silent again. Finally, she said quietly, "I don't think your mom likes me." I shook my head. "It's not that. She just doesn't realize how she comes across." Emma looked out the window. "I'm not sure I can go through this over and over again." That night I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying everything, wondering how I could fix it. My mom was who she was. I couldn't change that. But Emma was the person I wanted a future with. I felt trapped between the two most important women in my life. The breaking point came 2 weeks later. Emma agreed to come over one last time, just for a casual afternoon. No dinner, no big event, just coffee and conversation. I begged my mom to be on her best behavior. She promised she would. At first, things were fine. We sat in the living room, sipping coffee, talking about college. And then out of nowhere, my mom turned to Emma and said, "So when are you planning on giving me grandkids? I'm not getting any younger, you know." Emma's smile vanished. She set her cup down and said, "I'm sorry, but I think I should go." I stood up quickly. "Emma," but she was already grabbing her bag. She looked at me with sad eyes and said, "I like you, I really do, but I can't do this. It's too much." And just like that, she walked out. I felt my chest cave in. I turned to my mom, furious. "Are you happy now? You ruined it. You ruined everything." She looked shocked. "What? I was just asking. That's normal." "No, Mom," I said, my voice breaking. "Normal is respecting boundaries. Normal is not driving away the one person who makes me happy. You couldn't stop yourself, and now she's gone." For the first time, my mom looked genuinely guilty. She didn't say anything, just sat there in silence. The next few days were a blur. Emma stopped answering my calls. My texts went unread. I tried everything, but she was done. My mom tried to apologize, saying she didn't mean to cause problems. But it was too late. It took me weeks to process everything. I realized that love isn't just about two people. It's about the worlds they come from. And sometimes those worlds clash in ways you can't fix. I still love my mom. She's my family, and I know she tried in her own way. But I also know that her inability to filter herself cost me someone I could have built a future with. The most embarrassing part? It wasn't just the awkward dinners or the inappropriate jokes. It was realizing that I wasn't strong enough to protect Emma from it all. I let my mom's personality dominate our relationship, and I paid the price. If there's one thing I've learned, it's this. You can't change people who don't want to change. And sometimes the people you love the most are the ones who hurt you without even realizing it. I don't know if Emma and I will ever talk again, but I do know that next time, if there is a next time, I'll set boundaries from the start. Because nothing hurts more than losing someone. Not because of what you did, but because of what you didn't stop.